Dynamic of the game was back there covering.
Yeah, one of the best cover guys in football, and you can see him open up, understands right now. I got that outside release. I've got
greats. You just look at the feet, and you see those long arms. You see the hand fighting again.
Route. T. Higgins runs a clean route. It's just really good anticipation. I love the length there, but what I really love.
And he handles him. He's got to run all the way across the field, which is hard for corners. We're talking about one of the best in the game, if not the best cornerback.
Punting unit out. Well, now you have to punt. So here's the matchup we were talking about. Christian Gonzalez is going to be one-on-one on T. Higgins when they're in man coverage. He's trying to get.
Lassiter they just didn't give him any room to get to the football.
Love the hands right here. Hand fighting by Lassiter all over this route by Van Jefferson. And I tell you, right off the line of.
There was a lot of contact, and you said it, Andrew, right at the top of the screen. And Keon Coleman's looking here. He goes to turn his shoulder the other way. And
Tyson Campbell and the trade that happened and brought him over. See the jam at the line of scrimmage, and then they're both.
Make some plays, but Christian Gonzalez, I tell you, that is a tough assignment. Rashid Shaheed, and he can fly. You have to run that one down.
He has outside leverage, and the reason he has outside leverage is he has safety help to the inside there with 21, Chuck Clark. So that's exactly where when Flacco came rolling.
The corner who's able to come up and just get locked up right in the face of Mike Evans. And you see just great eye discipline on.
I mean, this is where Drake May wanted to go. They want to try to isolate.
J.C. Horn one-on-one on the edge. Watch his feel right here. As soon as he feels the receiver looking for the ball, he flips his hips and his head around.
Coverage today, forcing so many tight window throws. Here you get on Nakua and the speed of Woolen and the length.
And he makes a nice play.
Yeah, Meek Robertson underneath coverage, and Stafford's got to put that ball out there another 3 yards. Adams comes out. Eman Wari got a decent jump on Nakua, had leverage.
Yeah, how about stepping up, going against last year's Triple Crown winner as the wide receiver. This is excellent. Step for step, breaks outside with him. Ball is thrown back inside by Jake Browning.
54 seconds.
Now watch this. You know where Stafford wants to go on third down. Look at their bracketing him, but look at 21 Witherspoon. Good job of keeping eye, plastering, not giving him a chance to throw the ball.
You got to marry the rush and the coverage, and you got McCollum on A.J. Brown undercutting, nothing there. You got Smith over here on Morrison, nothing there.
One thing that when you talk to Jeff Ulbrich, he was so excited about Billy Bowman. He said, you know what, I might put him on Jefferson because he is so sticky. When he gets connected.
They're going to go for 3, and Denver's defense holds him out again. Surtain was there.
Has been simply outstanding. You can't play this any better. Trail technique, help over the top, turn.
You can describe him a little bit on just this replay. Mitchell just one-on-one on Ibuka, and he's got a shot. Good throw.
This is the man coverage that the Cowboys haven't been able to play, and Keyshawn Nixon is their best coverage guy on the outside.
Get an angle. All right, this will tell us. When does he actually possess the ball? It's hard to see. It's down the field, and you're going to have to play in that situation from time to time. I like the changeup right there by Terry and Arnold.
This is such a hard play to try and defend. You're going to see this time after time after time from Drake London.
And if it is, I'm always good with no flag if both of them are fighting each other. And I think the answer is yes. Tylan Wallace
for the interception. He's going to come off the right side of your screen, and look at him undercut this route. And then one-handed, beautiful interception by one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL.
They're lucky this wasn't picked off. With Taylor Britt playing the inside, that ball is inside. That's got to be.
Yeah, and here was another opportunity for the Chargers, because this should have been a back shoulder, easy answer, low line drive.
This is a great play by Jalen Johnson. This is another well-fitted ball in there. A little bit of back shoulder, but Jerry Jeudy is not able to squeeze it in. You can see it drop right there into the hands of Jalen Johnson,
who I think's had a heck of a night as a defense. With Trent McDuffie down, he's had to step up, and he's in a great position. No,
it is a last-second diving play to knock that away, and
to get to him, it's third down. Yeah, this is outstanding by Christian Gonzalez as he comes up and he's making a.
if not for the plays that he's made in this game, it would have been an absolute blowout at this point. He has saved a couple of deep ones.
Stood out in our chat with Sauce Gardner. He mentioned meetings this year, the corners and the safety
back, and here he is on the outside playing a little cover 2, trying to get it in the hole right there, and underneath he is all over him. Great hands, and just
they got a little interesting right about there. I think they were sort of pushing almost equally, and the officials probably saw the same thing, so no call.
Blitzes and gets in the face of Jared Goff. He comes a little bit late, but there's the one-on-one matchup. And
making routes, that's as perfect as you can play it. That's as perfect as you can play it.
Played for Jim Harbaugh in Michigan.
Tight coverage there right in the hip.
Right on him.
This is fantastic. Most young cornerbacks don't do this. They want to run with their back turned and then try and strip it away. Watch him turn his head right there, find the ball, and get it out. It was a good throw. It was a good route. It was a better play.
Waitman, very hot. He's been a little uneven in his play, getting the start today and playing well.
Well, just trying to throw a contest.
To wonder as Rashid Shaheed just continues to get acclimated. It's so hard to anticipate the speed
of shot, though. That's the matchup. Your number one wide receiver working against Mike Jackson. A little bit more air on the football. We can bring that one down.
It was a couple weeks ago. He threw Flacco for 342 yards, but this is a matchup today we're going to watch.
We will see a lot of this today.
Got to run with the speedster as he goes up the field. Here he is. Who wants that job? Not me. No thank you. And stride for stride, making the play.
The second round, and just the kind of player you want on your team. And this is tough sledding. He's by himself, press man-to-man coverage, does an excellent job pushing him to the boundary.
Yeah, I love Brian Branch, one of my favorite players in the league. He can kind of an all-pro type safety, physical, but then he...
The field goal unit, now they retreat to the sideline. They're going for it.
That's a perfectly thrown ball. It's just...
And he's right, number 33, as McConkey comes off, and he's in man coverage, but he does a great job of locating the football. He knows that Herbert's gotten out of the pocket.
I think I've ever seen. He's going to tip the ball. Watch this. He's going to tip the ball up in the air and then somehow find it and circle back and make the interception.
Mitchell does a pretty good job at the line of scrimmage. Now he's got to stack him, which is tough to do. Gonzalez is so smooth. Sometimes you forget.
You're going to see Amon-Ra going in motion and then running a streak down the field. Jonathan Jones is in place for Marshawn Lattimore, who's out with an ACL tear. He is feeling
on the field right now.
Yeah, nice job this time by Jackson, staying on the high side of Pickens, understanding he's a
jersey's out of his shoulder pad. There's a lot of contact going on, but there was nowhere to put this ball. In order to catch it, for Brian Thomas, this ball was going to have to be absolutely perfect.
Because Jones is on a heater, all the punt returns he had a week ago, and then to take the big, strong Keon Coleman on the outside and break that up. He is just a fighter in every way, shape, and form.
A lot of these guys stepping into different roles. Jalen Tomlinson, Budda Baker. I mean, there is nowhere to go on the edge.
Let's take a look. Good coverage. Yeah, I think that right hand
stayed right in his hip pocket, right where you need to be. Let him get up right there. Stay right there. Don't move. Really well done.
Zion McCullum just got a new contract from the Buccaneers. That is excellent.
Watch the sticky coverage, even from off coverage here. His eyes, his technique, the way he can plant.
Shadow on the perimeter with Kool-Aid. On top of him, looking back, that's beautiful.
Into the ground. And then the coverage on the back end, which is why this Denver defense is so hard to deal with, almost.
And we just talked about the one-on-one coverage. Cousins trying to go to the back shoulder of London.
Center McMillan.
Yeah, Benjamin Morris right here. Watch the hands. Good stab, eyes back to the quarterback.
As Cousins took a deep shot on 3rd and 7. Yeah, the Rams do a good job. He's working the intermediate part of the field. It just was not there, and that's where the coverage dictated that he go.
He's trying to throw back shoulder fade. Stingley's so good.
Over Stewart a couple times now we've called his name, but here's why they traded multiple first-round picks before the trade deadline for Sauce.
To the edge, right? You got to get to the sideline. So really nice job of just following this over route. Getting your eyes on the receiver.
Nico Collins, the target, slow to get up. Well, you got Joey Porter. We're going to see a lot of this matchup with Porter on Nico Collins.
Early in the game, Jennings one-on-one with DeJean, but doesn't quite have the separation that Robinson had.
Christian Benford has just done this since the beginning. When he came in at 22 as a 6th-round pick, nobody would have ever believed the impact that he would have at the cornerback position.
But watch how many people are playing the sticks. How many people are deep right here. Great coverage by Gonzalez. That's
what a word. Number 29 in the slot on a crossing route. And they've had some trouble on these crossing routes, but brilliantly played. And another Chicago Bear takeaway. Question is, can they capitalize?
Well, he's going to be chipping, helping out, and then Funga. Oh! Fortunate, though. I mean, that is a hit. That's why they went and got him in Greenlaw, because they felt like they didn't have these guys to hit Buffalo last year.
Coverage against Booty. Well, the Patriots, their defense, they went to more of a tight man-to-man coverage. I know that looks like man, but the Raiders...
Remember we were talking about the battle they had down the field? Look at that. It wasn't even started, and Wiggins is looking back.
This is really well done, and we've seen both guys, matched up one-on-one outside. Better positioning by Greg Newsome on this one. It gets to Jamar Chase. It hits him. He's got his hand in there, but you got to have your guys make their plays.
Austin really, he's done a nice job in coverage. He's only allowed...
Yeah, I think that this is going to be kind of even on both sides of the ball. I'm glad the officials letting them play like in this situation. You can see, if anything, it might have been a little offensive.
But watch the left arm of Mike Jackson right at the end, right there. Perfectly played.
Tonight against the run, what I want you to watch is his eyes. Sits back. Now he sees the ball about to be thrown. That's when he reacts. And look at him work around with that, his body.
Ridge. It's just called a square out. And DeJean is all over it. His
sack rate when pressured this year, Lamar Jackson, and that creates.
That's his second one. Watch Diggs just come flying up. He's going to read Love, who has to turn all the way around. The minute he does, he runs right past the block on the outside to make that play because he read it so much faster.
Nice concept, but remember, you're going best on best right now. Denzel Ward, he is no slouch. Look, he just runs the route for him.
How much does this offense miss Malik Neighbors? Look at this. Collins going to break inside. He stops his route. Kool-Aid McKinstry picks it off.
Let's get a look at this here because it looks like Bateman slows up. He just stopped. Kind of looked up. Maybe
just a great coverage by Still. The little out and in.
He kept working his left this entire drive, going to his left. This time, again, a little bit.
It's a great job. It's a slant route. You're inside leverage. You got to get in there, put your hand. Yep.
You know, they always say us DBs, we don't have the hands. But watch St. Juice right here. Drives on it, a little bit behind, and he goes and gets the football.
Hi, and that was the 57th pass attempt of the day for the Cleveland Browns. They got 17 rush.
Not give up on this play. The third-year player out of Michigan, he's beat, but he doesn't give up on it and ends up ripping it out and gets the turnover.
Tremendous play.
The interception has been confirmed. It's first down Cincinnati.
Don't have enough time to really get the ball down the field, and that's a heck of a job by Josh Jobe.
By the quarterback with wide open wide receivers. And J.C. Horn, this is just about staying on the go. Look at how bad he's beaten, but he just keeps fighting, gets that one hand up there.
You're going to see he had all day long in the pocket. He saw Nick Cross's back turned and thought he'd be able to lead Quentin Johnson out in front. And Cross just does an unbelievable job of turning his head at the last second and kind of making a...
That wasn't a good throw, and that was really good defense by Kool-Aid McKinstry. Notice how he kept his eyes on Baker Mayfield.
Big interception here. You play underneath him, turn your head, and Dak.
Now going to be 8. They're going for it on 4th and goal. Emeka Buka now trying his luck out there with Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Of undercutting this route. You're going to see it here. He runs the route with him, undercuts it for the interception. Beautiful defensive back play from Nick.
Back to the interception. Yeah, it's a great job by Marshawn Lattimore, who, when they went back and watched the film study, much better when he's up in press coverage. He plays this perfectly. Now, Patrick Mahomes last week on a throw to Rashee Rice talked about that was the first time in the NFL. Yeah, really nice. He had only played 19 snaps coming into this game defensively, getting his opportunity here late.
After the play was over, on sportsmanlike conduct, intercepting team number 90, his first toward disqualification.
And lucky this ball wasn't going.
Look at Shaq. Shaq Thompson, he knows this play is coming. They all take off to the tunnel screen, and not only the ability to read the play, but then to deflect it and have the ability
to design plays to get Christian McCaffrey one-on-one with a linebacker. And there it is right there. That
Trade rumor mill, and he is still a Seahawk and comes up with the starting role today because of the injuries in the secondary.
That's their second here in the first half. And this one comes back to what I think about Keon Coleman.
Does a great job with his eyes in off coverage. Reading the drop of the quarterback. He breaks before London gets out of his route.
To try and crush that confidence early. He's just all over this route. It's going to be a timing route where Davis Mills hits his back foot and gets it out. But just a beautiful job.
No question, this is going to be a stem in. I didn't know that he needed to stem as far inside.
Football on the line looked a little disjointed. Just tight coverage.
One play, and from up here it looked like a decent throw, but the length and the size of Nashawn Wright going up over.
Great play by J.C. Horn, because I understand what Purdy was trying to do. He just wants to lay this ball and let Jennings then go run into it. It's a little behind.
You're going to watch him here. He's going to be about 6 yards away, but he's just reading the eyes of Trevor Lawrence. Makes a break on that football, takes a peek, and makes a beautiful.
A big tight end and Cade Otton coming down trying to drill you and staying focused on that tackle. Watch him. He just has a little swagger working here tonight. It's easy when you have a big lead. I got all that. But that's...
And Brock Bowers needs a better block right here. I don't know why Brock Bowers took a couple steps forward.
Touchdown for Jackson.
Yeah, pretty common route combination, something Rams do all the time.
There is no foul for a blindside block. It's a touchdown.
Mike Jackson just
goal team out. Yeah, this tough cover here by Drew Phillips on Stephon Diggs, but he hangs in his hip pocket there pretty good. It was going to take man coverage, and you can do that when you've got the kind of corners they have. Christian Gonzalez, as we talked about, he's exceptional.
You talk to Al Golden. They love him. Third year in the league, just continues to get better. He leads the entire NFL in passes.
And another takeaway for Miami.
This is a great pick. And he just one-handed takes it away.
You got to believe they were going to give Caleb a chance to run it. The bootleg to the left. Komet gets behind him. And Caleb, not enough on that ball. Nixon recovers.
Is under pressure. Goddard was the one guy. Again, these shallower throws. Here's that final play. Well, watch Cam Hart. It's the zone coverage, so he's got eyes on Hurts. He sees the throw. He falls back underneath it, gets his hands on it, and then
or not, nope, let's just take the timeout. So there's Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's A.J. Terrell on him. He's playing outside coverage because he's got Jesse Bates over the top.
Jason, he batted that one down almost like he was insulted that they threw it in his direction. He's like, really?
Yeah, just the timing route. It's a speed out right there, and that's great defense by Josh Jobe because that's a well-run.
Over and becoming a defensive back late in his progression. 4.3 speed. Everything is out in front of him.
Especially on natural grass, it can be tough, but he gets in there.
He didn't. You're going to see him extend the play, and then you're going to see coming out of coverage 41 Wilson there, and it just makes him have to hurry the throw. But
Rashee Rice on a slant route.
Intercepted here. Otwell motions in. He's running that crossing route, and Robertson feels it. Gets the undercut.
Hamilton's had a really good game as that backup corner for the Commanders. Look at them.
Literally nowhere to go with the ball. Every receiver covered up. Knox covered up. Scramble drill. Everyone just trying to find a way.
One-on-one matchup, which he gets with Dobbs on Stevenson. It's actually a good throw, but just
whole way. And not a lot of people throw at Christian Gonzalez. I think if I were going to do it, I'd
pressure Coker right here in the slot, just trying to run down the seam, and really nice.
Great play by Clark. You can't blame him for not getting a pick here. It's just a Wonderful job of getting his hands on the ball.
To Juju Smith-Schuster out to the outside, but Baker, watch as he uses that left arm, wraps around and knocks it away.
I'm a big fan of Drake May, right? I mean, let me just say that right off the bat. But he has hung about 3 balls so far in this game inside, and if
at another level. Now this would have been an incredible interception. He just gets in that throwing window. But
just a great job by Mitchell. Defensive backs coaches call this hands to hands. So it's
Junior, stride for stride, out of the break, beats him back.
Plays, you're going to see they bring Washington across. You see the communication here in the slot. Pratt knows he's the flat defender, but this is called 2 through a zone. So when that flat receiver turns up the sideline,
Goff hits that 5th step. Watch him drive right there. He knows Amon-Ra's job.
I mean, that touchdown catch that he made last week was unbelievable. And it's very similar to this, double coverage right there. When he gets it.
Pierce has really established himself as one of the top downfield receiving targets in the league, and just a fast guy.
Safety's body. Love is covering the flat initially and then drops back and steps directly into the path of this ball. Just a fantastic defensive back play.
Tight end heavy kind of offense, but you've got a tight end against one of the fastest players in the National Football League. Wiggins certainly.
Renardo Green, it looked like initially Njigba has a chance. There's the double move, and he gets the separation, and just a ball.
Denzel Ward here. He is one-on-one with T. Higgins. There is no tougher position to be in the NFL. He does a good job of staying on top.
Yeah, you really want to call a play where you're going to get the ball out quickly, but just watch Jerry and Jones and the way that he tracks all the way across the field. It's actually really impressive from where he was.
Watch him just funnel him to the inside. Gardner Johnson knows he has inside help, so he kind of lets him go in there.
Was on the coverage.
And this is just an opportunity right here on these two guys to get a one-on-one, right? He
just continues to play at a high level. They don't play a ton of bump and run coverage. This is a very soft, off coverage defensive style.
Defensive play by the receiver. Yeah, Jaden Higgins, he's able to get on top of Carlton Davis. You see, he's got a couple steps, but the ball, and this is a defense that they smell blood in the water. I mean, you got to back them off somehow. And these quick passes that, that's.
Yeah, there's Tonjes on the crossing route. I mean, Mitchell has so much more speed on that throw. He just easily undercuts it.
These defensive backs are simply crushing. They're just crushing the New England Patriots. And Kayshon Boutte here has been a tremendous.
First couple drives, Stafford stood back there and had all the time in the world. And here in the last quarter and a half,
kind of scan all the way back to the right side of the field. Rashid ends up being about his 4th.
Really nice job by J.C. Horn, kind of hiding out, bait.
Somehow he's laying on the ground and ends up with it.
4 different players.
Yeah, pretty good coverage, but also a little bit of an underthrow. Lattimore kind of opens the gate and lets him run deep.
See, we talked about how Chicago's shorthanded with.
Right here in the middle, watch the move in front of his face, the double move, then in behind. Now he's got to try and figure it out. Hits him right on the back of the helmet, but only because his speed now 2 times on this drive have
step for step with him. I mean, coming from the inside, looking him up, just plays it perfectly, trails him, gets his head around, able to make a play on the football.
Throw by Geno.
It sure was. That's a great job by Tony Jefferson of splitting the difference on that double post.
That's where the ball should go. Maybe it's a fraction behind Jacoby Myers, but that's it. Get a little early.
The technique of this, he goes up over the top, and the right arm is not touching Dawson Knox, and that was the beautiful.
And use the old slingshot technique, grabbing his jersey, pulling himself forward to undercut that.
Well, that one almost got fair caught there. That was up for grabs for everybody, but when you get in this situation, I guess you got to go for a few.
By Stidham, that's got to be caught. The problem is the conditions are very difficult. That's why you play man-to-man.
Check games, he was right airtight.
This is the point.
And that's one way you deal with them. Try to butch them from the defensive end.
I'm out today, and what I mean is not New England. You don't want to throw at this guy.
Plays that Puka Nacua has been making this entire season, and it's why Matthew Stafford said, I don't care who it is out there, if it's Brisker, whoever, my guy usually goes up and gets this one. Just couldn't time it up that time.
Coverage, and you wonder what a difference Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz would have made for this offense had they have been to get the ball out just a little bit more. Higgins, he's got a chance for a big play, and these conditions are hard. On the bottom of Craig Woodson, number 31, you're going to see as he comes up to make a play on this ball that he almost intercepts it. When he comes up, he's sitting right there. He's reading the quarterback. A double move, a dig route. Woodson's right in the back here, and he drives on it immediately and could have very easily have intercepted.
Fellas, both guys hand fighting. Forearms go up for the football. No call. We got to play right now. This is a good no call.
This one wasn't. They were, because that team plays more vision on the quarterback's zone coverage. These guys, a lot more man up tight on you. Good is there, but watch. Tre'Davious White is all over Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers.
I mean, it's lucky that
a couple of times they got it over to Cook in the opening, but they have been on him quickly, not getting any.
Nice job. That's a phenomenal job. Devontae Smith, not like he breaks a ton of tackles, but you got a rookie in open space and comes out of the middle of the field. Siegel's like, nope, I got you, big guy. I'll wrap you up and toss you down. Ball allows Kendricks to read his eyes, come right underneath it, and make the game sealing. Doesn't he? He's got there on Kittle. He knows he's got a speed advantage. And when he's tight in coverage like this.
They split out Woody Marks. He's playing wide receiver, and as soon as that ball started to come out, Peyton Wilson, he just immediately was barreling down on.
Against Chris Shawanshire. There's the matchup right there. Gives him a hard look to the outside, trying to set up to get back inside, and Johnson finishes on the play to get a hand on the football right there to knock it out of the hands.
Well, C.J. Stroud just not able to get the ball out there enough because Titus Howard, the left guard, he gets pushed right back into the pocket. This ball floats on Stroud, and Knowles trying to make the
for that pass breakup. Tucker was like, I got it. I don't got it. They're there. This is that Spags secondary I'm talking about all day, baby.
Comes up with a nice play right there. He has his 4 interceptions this season, the most.
Playing off coverage, he felt.
They had Hamilton overlooking, and so they're just making sure they had inside out that time on Freiermuth.
Been that way. They're a nosy group, and they like to make big plays. And, they're kind of a reflection of how they're.
That means 2 safeties deep. Come down the middle. Middle of the field there to Gesicki. Delpit with the.
For these quarterbacks to throw the football. Noel Williams, you saw him make a big play on the replay coming out of the break.
Philadelphia both tied up right now at the moment. And really important games.
Yeah, Elijah Jones, he played that beautifully. What I really like is that he didn't go through to.
Looks like they've got numbers. 2 blocking 2, excuse me. He's stepping back, he's stepping up. But that's just good rallying, tackling, and this is what.
For Paulson Adebo, you can see he's one-on-one with George Pickens. And we all know about the slant. You saw 24, Dane Belton.
Difference a week makes. Came out kind of funny right there, but Petrie.
Blitz a lot. They sent a little pressure on this one, but it was on that drive. Jair Brown was down in the box, playing the run on the first 2, man coverage on third. Jalen Johnson on the outside is going to jump this, coming off of groin surgery. They said that he is finally back where he's ready to play every snap, and he was certainly ready.
Plays it like a defensive back. I mean, he was up at the line of scrimmage, and as he's getting underneath that route, he's got eyes on Stafford the entire way. Otherwise, if
a rookie 3rd-round pick from Notre Dame, that's his 4th. And how about Caden Ellis?
Caden Ellis was running from the line underneath Smith.
His body and good defensive play.
That was a terrific defensive play.
Watch Watts on this play. He never back up. He just stays put right there, and he's reading Stafford the entire way, waiting for him to turn it loose. Anybody comes in his area, Ferguson does.
Just can't quite get enough on it. Nice job there by Murray, and Phillips just trying to.
Here's the fade route. It's there all day. Ward wins the matchup. Without DK Metcalf, they could not.
Might have checked into that. He at least moved the protection. Jones just standing flat-footed, not worried about downs. Every team in the league runs this. It's dagger. You get an inside clear out and then a big in-breaking dig route, and just a great. Seems like when they've been able to keep Trevor Lawrence in the pocket and not get the ball out of his hand to his first read, he doesn't see a whole lot through his progression. He's seeing a lot of tight coverage. He's seeing a lot of contested throws. Tries to get late downfield, and
MVS needs to get his eyes back sooner right here. Get back. Ball's already in the air. By the time you pick up where he threw it, it's too late.
Vertical balls. You see, this is what they call a cut split. See how he's lined up inside the numbers. Traditionally, the single receiver would be kind of outside, closer to the...
It's Mike Jackson. They're playing some more man coverage here. A little slip at the top of the route. Mike Jackson comes up off the break.
But Alontae Taylor down in this part of the field as a DB, you always talk about it. The quarterback's going to have more time.
And you're just going to watch. There's Izzian tracking, eyes are right the whole time. Has man coverage on Darren Waller, nice tackle.
Early on had some struggles, but over the last 5 or 6 weeks has made play after play for them on the outside.
There was room, there was space in front. You see, maybe slightly behind as CD's
by about 3 or 4 yards. Check him out. This is a skinny post. We're talking 2 to 3 yards, and in the NFL, that's wide open, so he has to wait for the ball.
In a position to be number one in the AFC.
Yeah, they had Travis Kelce bracketed, which created some one-on-one opportunities. And there's McMillan against Hollywood Brown, and the ball, once he throws it to him, it's late over the middle. Tough to be.
Staying on top of CeeDee Lamb. He does a little stutter and go right around 6 yards, but you don't put him.
Thought he had an opportunity on the outside on the quick out. Didn't like it. Comes back to the right-hand side. And I don't know.
Bullard is just too good in coverage for a tight end. His quickness is just unmatched. I love Bullard.
And he's just not going to get many more possessions or opportunities. And so now this is a ball he's just trying to.
A 6'3" frame. Terrell's got his body turned, really doesn't react back to it. This goes right through his hands.
And have been targeted 93 times this year.
Yeah, targeted 93 times, but he's played 569 cover snaps coming into this game. And Patrick a lot better, but this is one-on-one, and just great defense by Jarian Jones. I mean, you can see right there, he's got his head back looking for the football.
With Dallas.
And this is one where you hold your breath a little bit because Quentin Johnston, obviously, they're down the field threat. He's got to step on him. And you're going up against one of the backup.
Safety. Top of your screen, you'll see Mitchell go out breaking and Sankers all over him. That is beautiful. Really grooved that one. They actually did a nice job with the protection. He had plenty of time, did not set his feet. I don't think he saw Sanker at all, and he threw it right to him. Mechie.
Here's Coker. Let's check out the coverage. That's Parrish on him, keeping that outside leverage. Get that covered, and then that's just called plaster. Once he gets going. Flat foot read right here. You're just reading this thing. You know inside the numbers. Mike Evans runs.
Start. What a first half. Forces the opening kickoff fumble, and he's now made his presence felt a couple times. This is what Washington's deep.
Bullard's just right over the top of DJ. DJ's kind of like, he's not throwing. Oh, God, he is throwing. And then kind of surprises him. I know he should make that catch, but not the.
Catches Sam Darnold off guard. Watch how Wallace comes off of it, sinks, playing zone, reading the eyes of Darnold, and then steps in front. Perfectly coached, and a great job there by 30. Right on cue, as you say.
Just reading his eyes. You see him at the top of the screen. He's got love, and that ball's got to come out a tick fast.
Well, Chris Shula did it earlier when they showed man and dropped into zone, and Wallace came up with a pick. Here's zone pressure. They blitzed the backer, and drop of all guys, Kobe Turner, one of their best pass rushers. That's allowed Mumfield to kind of come back, go up. Job never sees the football until it's too late. The ball got in there, but it came out. Job, to his credit, got that left hand in there to be able to knock that away from him. Good effort there by the rookie out of Pitt.
He's really kind of gone after Harold Fannin a little bit too much today. You're making it kind of easy. That's definitely your security.
If I'm coaching Seattle, I'm telling my defensive backs, cut your cushion down. I want you to be right in the chest of these receivers.
Left this a little bit more inside. You're going to watch. He kind of middles him up to the backside of his body, and it allows Quincy Riley to come in and knock the football out. Great job by Riley, not giving up on.
But he might have got away with a little bit of a hold but that ball was thrown behind, came off.
What you wanted? No, you didn't. Mike Jackson here, we already told you, underappreciated corner, playing with physicality, puts his helmet right into the back.
Almost comes up with the interception after he tips it.
An important drive, but it was a short drive, that's for sure. 3 and out.
Green Bay does an exceptional job pass coverage here. Everyone's covered. The no look almost for no reason.
And Reed went deep.
He had a chance, and you'll look at that on the sideline when you come back.
San Francisco's really gone to. It's a lot of zone coverage where they're just trying to keep a top on the offensive formation, but also just
inside of Travis Kelce on a corner route, able to get his head around and come up with the interception.
And now the stat line's getting worse and worse for Cook.
Kind of just sailed this one, huh?
That's a really nice play by Antonio.
This time, Marcus Mariota makes the throw. Deebo Samuel has to come back to the football. Nice play by Cordell Flott, making a play on the ball.
You might get a completion, you might get a penalty, but if you get an interception, turns into a 49-yard punt.
Kenny, you can't play that any better. Aside from actually picking the ball off with one hand, look at that. That is gorgeous defense. Locked down Terry McLaurin on the outside, playing the ball better than Terry, to be very honest.
Down their last 5 possessions, it's been 3rd and 8, sack. 3rd and 13, completion short. 3rd and 7, incomplete.
Jeff Albrecht plays a ton of man. Second most in the league, but this time out for 20, he's playing zone. He's just reading the eyes, and he fools Baker Mayfield. I think
They're going to go field goal.
This is his only route he could have had right there. But do you want to throw that? It's probably going to be tackled short. So at that point, he looks, decides, everyone else covered. It's a coverage sack.
That's not a 50-50 ball to me. That's an 80-20 ball in favor of Justin Jefferson. Throw it. So I think it's really just location. Try to leave that ball out.
After the quick change.
Yeah, they absolutely needed that. And look, I think they just got... Yeah, this is a nice job. Again, you're not expecting pressure. You're expecting a lot of defenders dropping out, which is exactly what the Vikings did. But just watch.
Well, you'll see the fake, and right here, it's just an excellent job. See that hit by number 40, Buchanan? They were prepared for... It's going to be man-to-man. Flowers does a good job getting outside, but Eccles gets his head around perfectly, and that's great defense.
if I'm a defender, do you feel threatened that he's going to go downfield? It almost looks like he's running just a route. He's just jogging downfield.
Ball by Isaiah Oliver. And we just talked about the linebacker.
Dalton Kincaid, he's going to run a little inside seam route. Just trying to throw that ball away from battle. I'll tell you what, though, that's a great job by the secondary of the Bengals. Soft coverage.
Got to know you can't get away with this. This is a stutter go. Douglas doesn't fall for it. And with a corner in that kind of a position, you just can't throw that football. And a wasted opportunity by the New York Jets.
For the ball to come out and then rally to the football and put a hit on Theo Johnson and Jarvis.
Player of the year. Watch this. And Terry McLaurin, we've been talking all night about how good he is. Little contact there, but your best player, we're going to take him one-on-one. And this is the kind of coverage that you get. Let's take a look, see if there was anything to...
He's going on the inside. He knows he wants to go out here and get to that receiver. So watch Rasul Douglas sit, squat. He's got help over the top, the safety. He's just out there in the flat reading the quarterback, and there he goes, Rasul.
Pass was intended for Drummond.
Yeah, that was a nice job of coverage by Stevens. You're going to see him just continue to track him, knowing that the ball may be coming.
And he's coming up big. We saw with the vertical route earlier. This time it's an in-cut by Tinsley. It's textbook. Excellent job.
His 34 career interceptions coming into this game. You take a risk as Jalen Hurts is trying to create. He's trying to scramble, try to make something happen. He's trying to get a receiver downfield, and there's Byard, who's got as good a range and in.
Get your eyes back around earlier down here. The ball's already in the air. By the time he turns, he's like, where's the ball?
Right in front of Pickens.
I mean, that could have been intercepted by Edwards, and it almost goes.
Earlier in this game when he made a play, and this guy, he is one of the more impressive young players that I have watched coming into a ball game, and not to say it's been perfect because
broke in front of Adoree Jackson. He kind of runs the post route. Dak maybe thought he was going to go outside of him. That's why CD can't find it in the air.
Yeah, he does a great job of just robbing the middle of the field. You know, you see him so much when he's
terrific play by Denzel Ward again.
But 4th and 4, it was Braswell and Wingard on the coverage.
Well, they get what they want with the safety biting down on the underneath route, and they think that they have that one-on-one, but boy, Gaither, it looks like he's going to, number 27, jump the tight end in the flat, and then he's just going to reverse inside. Lawrence thinks he has on the football by Johnson. Just coming in there and just laying out, getting that hand in there. Safeties and coverage. Jalen Thompson, number 34. The best thing he does is he keeps his outside leverage. And because he has that.
Well, this gets left to the inside a little bit. That's why it's knocked away. If he leaves that to the boundary,
Jameis Winston into that. So just watch what he does here as far as falling back. That is a tremendous play by Amik Robinson. They've run that so many times, and they've had it open so many times. This time, great individual effort by Amik Robinson for that.
Hamilton said some of the dances he's talking about was when he was in high school. Some of the guys on the defense weren't born yet. That's where they really were being able to make plays. And as you see the Jets doing a really good job of covering everybody up, nowhere for Lamar Jackson to go with the football. Hopkins backside as he's rolling to the right. The execution has been poor. Harbaugh.
Again, pressure. They've made Josh Allen uncomfortable the entire day.
And then the first 2 weeks of this season, but not 3 consecutive regular season.
Yep, it's rare, but this is man-to-man. And then you've got safety coming over and Watson, who I think should be in the Pro Bowl this year. You got the one-on-one up top. Look at this. Hollywood Brown runs by Sauce, but Mahomes is not willing.
That Josh Allen has on 3rd down or any down is 10. Shakir, and what a job of stripping that to get it out.
CeeDee Lamb, that's where he's trying to go with the football, but instead it's taken away by Polamalu, the safety, and his
attempt a field goal as Kalen Carson had coverage.
Yeah, right idea. Bowers, he's going to body him up, and he turns much like Deron Bland, their number 1 corner. He's just locked up here on 3rd down and plays it perfect.
Oh, wow. And this Eagles defense was tremendous a year ago. But I'm not so sure by the time.
Good job because we haven't heard his name much. And there's some hand fighting between both of them. But
throw it away, live to play the next down. And after that 4th down stop, this Seahawks defense finds themselves.
Well, you see the outside leverage by Watson. He has really minimal help. It's actually receptions now, and thinking you're going to get an easy check down. Hufunga says no.
Inside one-on-one with a wide receiver. I mean, you want to talk about having faith in your guy right there. Cody Barton running.
About, when he breaks the huddle, what's the first thing he's looking at as we watch Metcalf, and maybe he had a little bit of space.
Well, at the hard play.
They tried to take their shot, send Wan'Dale Robinson in motion, so hopefully he can get a little bit of momentum on the corner, but really nice play by Bullard. I like the ball location, just good football. Last time he threw the ball down the field to Golden, they got the pass interference penalty. Maybe he's just trying to give him a chance here, but
how the outcome of that play went. You'll see him at the top of the screen there, just one-on-one up the sideline, just trying to take a shot.
So they cloud this corner. In other words, this corner's just going to get hands on the receiver, but then his eyes are going back inside.
On it. Ball's accurately, ball's always going to be accurately thrown, but see that right hand works around the body to knock that away. He was beat. Great throw. How about the deep ball accuracy? We've seen this all year on a deep post. Ball's already in the air. Look at this. It's on the money. And right there, he finishes it.
That's just the elevation. The route's there. The ball just has to be right at the back of the end zone. It's not even Terrell's guy.
Tua has. There's Malik Washington. He's going up and over. And what you see is, that's Jalen Waddle. What you're going to see is that Malik Washington.
The potential interception.
Yeah, Jaden Wall is coming all the way from the other side of the field. And it's just a go across all the way to the other side. And what Tua is doing is
just got to throw it all the way to the other side of the field. Instead, he leaks him up the field. But if he throws it more towards the boundary, then Christian Watson with his, you're going to see him come from the right side of the screen. And Keyshawn Nixon is beat on the route. and yet here he comes. He dives in and lays out and makes a play on the football. Really good job. I thought initially Hurts was going to try.
The route recognition, everybody knew there was going to be in-breaking routes.
Right up that right seam, you'll see Harrison come into view. Take a look at McBride working up the field. Good coverage. Good defensive play right there, and not
probably more than anybody else in the secondary. Forbes, and going to his third down target, Jennings probably got to make that.
In his pass defense.
Well, you need to come up and make some hits if you're in this secondary.
Commanders go 3 and out on their opening possession.
Just take a look at the coverage. They fall back in zone. Known for playing a lot of man, and then Amik Robertson, he goes in, and that's a perfect plaster. That's what
this past offseason from Atlanta, and it just kind of throws off the timing instead of being able to hand that ball off.
Yeah, this is a great job. Watch him. He's going to eye Aaron Jones coming out here. He's going to read him. Then he gets his eyes back on J.J. McCarthy and sees that he's coming inside to Jordan Addison on the in, coming right behind him. Reads the eyes of the quarterback, adjusts and make
there. Great defense by Wingard there. Just
came as an outside corner, which is what he played at Florida. During camp, they moved him into the nickel.
Here they are on the outside again, you know, matched one-on-one, going to the inside and back outside.
On Jalen Waddle. So whenever you start doubling guys, everyone else on the team has to make their play with their one-on-one matchup. Back at Hard Rock Stadium with the Miami Dolphins up 16-0. This last interception by Josh Allen, no separation by Dawson Knox, and I think it was a miscommunication.
Comes up with a big play.
And a great move at the line of scrimmage here to get the separation, and Michael Penix is going to want this one back. He just leads.
That hit as well, yeah.
Gonzalez right in between both. Whew. Fundamentally sound defense there. And what a play.
He's trying to hit Diggs.
Great job by David to pop out. Diggs just needed to continue on his route right there. Diggs wanted the ball earlier, but David popped out, and what I was talking about, you're putting your young quarterback in harm's way. When I say that, I mean bubble screens, he can tackle, and he's getting better and better. But he's solidified that position for them.
Get Robinson the ball in space. Drake London is responsible to go out and block the corner. He's a little bit of a hesitation, push up the field first, and Blackman does a great job of attacking all the way to the end zone. And Michael Penix told us this is his favorite route to throw, the deep over off of the play fake. You see Kyle Pitts here. Got a couple steps, and he's got room to go.
Mayfield's right there in the middle, and boy, is he a great football player. I mean, watching him, watch Winfield right there. He's a middle safety, and he knows no one is threatening him on the outside.
With the Broncos and Chargers.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This is a great job, by the way, Jim. We'll get right back there.
Point of attack. It's one thing to be able to cover a guy, but when the ball is there, can you fight off?
This man-to-man right here on Lockett, and watch. Jam, grab that hip, and that's one of those key. He's one of those key things is he's playing for Jordan Lewis. Right.
There's Rice. You see him in the backfield, lined up outside. Had him for a second, but really it was a coverage sack / throwaway at the end.
Just a spectacular looking young player, and there is no way that
is the best I've ever seen when there looks like there's nothing there. This could have been caught, but Bishop again.
It was perfect. Darnold had time to go through his progressions. Instead, he ended up trying to scramble, then throw back across his body. It's just a mistake we have not seen him make, certainly tonight, but for the most part this year.
Holt just drive on this. He's sitting in the flat, driving on that football.
Tyler Higbee, they actually bring Alontae Taylor on the blitz from the outside. It doesn't get there, but you see that everyone's eyes are on the quarterback, and then he makes sure not.
In the way they approach their coverage, and that's a great job by Riley Moss. Easy for him to see the delivery, to be able to break across. Just really well done.
A lot of choice, but they're going to go hurry up. They're going to go fast.
They're booting, and they're having Drake May come out to the right and sending Pop Douglas all the way back to the left. And look how Alford right down his back, gets his eyes back at the last second there to be able to play the football. Just really good defense by D. Alford, who's filling in.
For the interception that will all but ice the game.
He's a rookie, a first-round draft pick, and Ravens fans, let me just tell you, this guy is a very, very unique talent, really has corner skills playing back there at safety. You could see what I mean there with his ball skills, being able to time that. That ball was thrown probably 50.
Take a look at Joey Porter Jr. here coming around. Tries to get his hands there.
Some time in the pocket. Have man-to-man up the field. Good coverage.
Titans have stepped up. Middle of your screen. Baker's man-to-man coverage this time on McConkey.
And I understand you got DK Metcalf. You like him one-on-one on a fade ball.
Had a pick six last week. Watch Barton right here. He's going to undercut this route. Herbert is not expecting him to undercut Keenan Allen right there. Herbert stared down Keenan Allen the whole way.
You're going to see the safety help coming in, linebacker help. You're going to double team CD. Look at down here. This is the one-on-one. He had a choice. Do you go up top? You have all the room here. Pickens is wide open on a back shoulder fade.
Nice job there by Mike Jackson. He's going to face a lot of action. He's going to most of the time.
Who didn't play last week against Cleveland comes up with a beautiful play right here.
Well, watch the technique. He uses that shoulder to knock the ball out. He could have taken a big shot, but instead he goes right at the outside arm. And
So watch Thomas.
Punting members of the special teams for the Falcons.
Well, he's throwing it to a spot. It just
sounds right now. You're this offensive line. You know you got to throw it on every down. And now it's been nothing. Yeah, just trying to get out here into the corner and got to put that more by the pylon. But Marcus Jones, great job of getting that.
Use the sideline to their advantage. You're going to funnel him that way, and then you're going to press him that way. You get your head back around to top.
Watch Sertan as he lets him go, and then he drifts back. Watch. He sees the crosser coming, but he's like, you see the acceleration? Once he baited him into that, he tried.
Yeah, just a really nice job on the back end. Double teaming Justin Jefferson. Quinyon Mitchell plays underneath. Reed Blankenship plays over the top. See DeJean there working in the slot.
Field coverage, as you just said. Here's 89, little Jordan Humphrey. He's trying to come back to the ball. He looks and he sees that he's scrambling.
Watch Tariq Woolen down here in press coverage outside. Now, he's just trying to get back into phase, running to get back to the hip, turns around, looks for the football.
But time after time, as you mentioned, Joe, there's
more air on that ball. There's Hutchinson going to the corner. He's open.
Yeah. I'm going with the quarterback sneak here. I agree, Lou. Like, that's a great play by Okada. Wins in this short area space. It's also, we're trying to block a defensive end with the tight end.
It's just playing outside leverage, knows that he got help in the middle of the field, and you see him and Ward just come flying. This is a big man now, 6'3", 220 pounds, playing that nickel position.
It's a physical nickel. The sky is the limit for this rookie. On the other side, but this is perfect. I want you to watch that left arm. You see that? They call that being in phase right there. Want to feel the receiver so that I can look.
Yeah, so this time, little quick jam, zone coverage. He's got his eyes in the backfield.
Yeah.
See how they switched that? Here's Kelsey. Had underneath defenders, couldn't get that one in there. It's a throwaway. But it was to Thornton Jr., and this is man-to-man. It's a good throw. Everything is correct. The problem is the coverage is better.
Well, here he is down here on the bottom of your screen, and great throw by Andy Dalton.
Could not hold on. Good defense pulling that out.
Well, Stevens, they're just running a smash combination. And watch Stevens right here. Once he sees this, nope, quarterback reading the eyes. Get off of that.
From Georgia, we have a player injured back inside the 30.
Yeah, you're just going to get this game inside here, and they have had such a tough time picking up games on the inside, and you see Smith double.
Thomas ends up slowing down to create that contact, and then the ball's a little too far for him to make the catch. Just keep running. Keep running. See how he slows down right there, and then he can't.
That tight man coverage. Benford knows that safety's down inside. He can stay outside leverage because he has help to his inside on Drake London.
They're going to do when they come in the game. But, you know, do you say, hey, we're going to take our shot, give them a chance, but there was no chance that this ball, you know, you got two defenders and they were there the whole time.
But it's going to be a pressure, man-to-man. And just...
Well, Turner's in coverage this time, and he undercuts it. I think he does get it. Yeah, he does get that left hand.
It's 4th and 5.
Well,
just great coverage.
Yeah, balance. We saw all the talking that was going on between those two, and he immediately turns.
It is early on in this game. KJ Britt has been all over the field. You see him coming in right there, but it was the outside right there, the punch right there of Austin Davis with the left hand. And
Joey Porter Jr. has not allowed a man-to-man coverage touchdown since 2023.
Lateral play. This is what this was going to be. Rather than trying to throw it deep and hope to get the hope play, they were hoping to put it in the hands of a playmaker and see if you can get the laterals, missed tackles, all those other things. But to your point, Jason,
Allen after that, he was almost celebrating as a DB.
Yes, he was. He broke up the pass.
He was the guy. And
staying ahead of schedule, you can lull a defense to sleep, and then all of a sudden, here you go down the field. You catch that one-on-one with Alec Pierce and Max Melton, and you're going to take your shot down the field, but also the confidence for you to get right back on schedule.
This cornerback group, but for the Chargers, the motion comes, he's communicating with Jefferson behind him, which was beautiful. And these guys,
verbal communication that allows all 11 guys on offense to be
close, Kurt, as to whether he did have possession before it popped free. That's a bang the ear makes the play.
And they had space right here. Again, this is one of those balls got to come out. Ball's got to be out before he breaks. Sitting on the stick.
He's able to come across, and he gets his hand on it. He's reading the quarterback again, and just excellent work. You had Eric Murray trying to carry.
And when you get your chance, you got to hit it. You know, that's what Matthew Stafford told us and Sean McVay, a little out and up. Pretty good job there.
They do on this play. They rush 6. They play man across the board. A little contact there at the end. They just want to get the ball on the ground. Here he comes. That's all he was focused on.
Their leading tackler comes in and breaks up that pass.
Well, and after the play, Sam Darnold smacks his hands together because he knows he missed one. You leave that to the outside, it's a touchdown.
It's just a 2-deep zone, and take a look as Blackman's flat-footed, eyes on Geno Smith the entire way, and jumps Thornton. It looks like a pick 6, however, Blackman did step out. Nick Cross is able to recover and drop underneath it. There's really nothing holding Nick Cross on that side. Should be an interception.
An excellent job. You're going to see him. He's coming from the top of the screen. He's matched up on Olave right there from a deep position.
For the ball, but he just watches where Myers' hands goes, and that's when he attacks the football.
Rookie defensive of the year. Never made a regular season pick. Almost got one here.
Yeah, he literally was about to get a pick 6 if that ball was not a foot.
Murphy, who's done a phenomenal job, a Pro Bowler last year. Look at the pass breakup. I've been so impressed with the pass.
Fancy, but everyone was covered. Watch as they go out, covered. Kelsey's going to go up, find an open area. But the Ravens were very disciplined. Other side, covered.
With Cooper coming off the slot, here's the pick. They're trying to get a rub. Surtain actually plays it really well.
But the Ravens can actually get this fixed. They are covering teams in man-to-man, which I was surprised they went man.
When he has seen one-on-one coverage, he has known exactly where he's going with the
field. And then as a quarterback, you got to look him off. But Daniel Jones was locked onto Michael Pittman that whole time, made it easy.
A turnover yet in this game as Alex Austin there. And Del Pettis knocks it out or try. Yeah, he does. It just went out of bounds.
And we talked about that earlier when you don't see the guy coming.
At the catch. Johnson may get the catch, but White's there on the spot.
And very similar, seeing him elevate his offhand, not grabbing the receiver, going up, knocking the pass away. Such a tremendous.
They're only rushing 4, and he has to get rid of the ball.
Wow,
as you see Phillips knock it away. Well, you have to take shots. I've said this in previous games. At some point in time, you've got to take some shots just to let the defense know you're willing. So trying as best you can to extend it to the outside. Allen doing a little inside route, but it's Quentin Johnson that they won on the corner route. He had a guy high-low on him, so he wasn't able to squeeze.
The fine line between being a real playmaker and then when you get outside the pocket, Blankenship tips it.
Just trying to both go up and make a play on the football. Look at Love's eyes. He's completely playing the ball.
Best pass defending linebackers in the entire NFL.
Yeah, you got Pickens one-on-one. It's not one-on-one. It's actually cover two. Stevenson does a nice job, and anytime that ball's
whatsoever, the ball's up a little bit late. They were only on the 20-whatever yard line there, and then it was Watson. I think the Giants finally lost their patience. You're going to see it looks like it's going to be something. They had Neighbors double-teamed on the other side, but then as the ball was coming down, it was one
by Nick Jouet. Here comes the punting unit.
Well, Nick does a nice job of stepping up in the pocket. He needs to put this ball to the boundary, though, because watch how St. Juice is able to recover.
Well, remember these big in cuts from Ricky Pearsall. He's gashed this Arizona Cardinals defense on it, and not this time. Taylor Demerson, a.k.a. Well, you got to applaud the coverage here for Denzel Burke, Keitrell Clark. A lot of these guys stepping into different roles. Jalen Tomlinson, Budda Baker. I mean, there is nowhere to go on the edge.
Your hands are on them. Here they are right in the slot. Oh, that was actually Moss. So number 2 there on Quentin Johnson on the outside, and he gets his hands past that.
What they do, he's pressed and he's at the line of scrimmage. But look at the way he comes in the back door and leads with that left hand to knock that pass away.
What a drive that was to go for it on 4th and 1, to have the long third down completions, and then to... Well, we thought Travis Hunter was a two-way player coming into the year. I think we need somebody else to get on both sides of the ball, because when the ball's in his hands, you're not catching him, and I tell you, that was an exceptional play. Today, he loves Chase, but look at that. Same technique he used earlier, punching that thing out. That is Flores' coaching. That is Rodgers' commitment.
To Dotson, take a look, just a little levels concept. Devontae Smith, he takes the high. Dotson, he comes behind him on the scissors. And
he said Tyke Smith, extremely strong. Wide receivers have a hard time blocking him. Ever since they moved him to safety, he's been making play after play.
Well, here you go. I mean, you're just outside here trying to come on this comeback to your player here, Thornton. And, you know, the bottom line for me, great coverage right here. Amos, their best cover.
Navigating the pocket, but watch. That's a nice play by Woods.
Really is.
He comes back home here. You see Achane out there to the outside, gives you an idea of what kind of skill set he has as a...
Well, a lot of respect for Kenny Moore from me and from the coaches. It's he does everything.
Yeah, he kind of went deep on him.
There is no foul on the
Smith.
play.
Yeah, probably the right call.
Second down.
They picked it up, no flag.
He's got all the time in the world. Smith kind of stops, so Watson stops.
Listen, now we're not playing any more man-to-man. You just see Dante Thornton trying to go up over top Tony Jefferson. Tony Jefferson's had a night so far.
It's Snead. One-on-one with Adams.
Do to start to get this offense jump started. It comes down to, honestly, you don't know really what you.
Jared Goff going to his main man, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and there is Jalen Johnson gets just enough on it.
Is in at right guard, and Cody Acade Mays is in at center.
Really well played by Will.
Good protection and pick up there. You see Taylor coming on and getting the extra back that was coming in, trying to throw the corner out to Warren.
Williams, in just his 3rd season, really has done a nice job going back to last year playing that slot as a...
Well, there wasn't a blitz there. They just rushed the 4, so he had some time in there. But look at the coverage. Great job by the secondary and the linebackers of the Broncos. No open windows.
Getting him in late August. He was a former 3rd-round pick for Minnesota.
Well, great coverage there. They brought 5 at the line of...
A dime back, and that's perfect. That is exactly how you draw it up. Tampa getting that opportunity with Alexander inactive and making the most of it.
Critical mistake here by Brownie. You got to take care of the ball. Look at Devin Lloyd right in the middle of your screen, just reading the quarterback's eyes, sitting in a simple zone with vision. Is able to.
He's 40 years old. This is his 18th year. He knows better than that. I can't believe he threw that ball. Credit. That is why you finish to the ground. Watch Delpit. Andrews has it, punches it out. That is beautiful by Delpit. Andrews had 2 steps, but
no one does this in the NFL. This is basically don't get beat, cover him, and
coverage led to the mistake. Browning has nothing early. He throws it late into a party of Jags defenders. Wingard
was ecstatic, and this is again Nixon sitting on the short routes. They know the balls, it's very tough to get. Look at him. He's not losing any ground, and it allows him to come up and.
Well, we've got a lot of confidence in what we're doing here in this offense and your arm, because you watch this throw by Mac Jones, and there are 4 New Orleans Saints all around. It's thrown a little bit behind, so that's going to help Justin Reed. And it's a good job by Braden Willis coming back to compete for that football.
Lost that timeout, so now you don't have a way to stop the clock. So a shot at the end zone right there to try to.
He can line up inside, he can line up on the edge, he can line up off the ball. He's such a weapon to add along with this front. And the old sluggo, they're trying to get him on a slant and go. He doesn't fall for it. Really nice job, because if he holds on to this ball, watch, this is just all inside post. He catches that and gets hit. He's probably
Jackson, and it was a big one. A little bit of a late, poorly timed throw. CD. Oh, it was right down the middle of the field, and it looked like it was thrown to Hamilton when he threw it. And if Kyle had broken up just a little bit, he might.
You see him, he's the flat defender, but he gets just enough depth to get his hand on that ball, because he's got Jackson Smith and Jigba open, but it's that deflection.
Offensive play.
Riley Moss, again, absolutely no panic. Watch him, he gets beat, he gets turned. No panic, fights through the push-off.
Great job. And you see Goff went through everybody multiple times. Condensed formation, or condensed area of the field right here.
Yeah, when the ball came out of Purdy's hand, I thought it was a touchdown. Floated a little bit on him, and that's all Woolen needed to get that left hand.
Right in the slot, and if you're Stafford having Adams matched up on the linebacker, you're going to take that every time.
This trade. Quarterbacks throw interceptions. When someone gets around them and disrupts it, is that?
And rookie year, all 17 games, he played outside corner. So he's no stranger to going up and high pointing a football like this.
Johnson had it in his hands. Look at the placement, Ross. You asked for that. Back shoulder as he's coming down. Buddha, of course, finishes.
Down the field, just hasn't been the crispest of throws. Neighbors on Amos, the rookie, kind of gets both hands on it. Just on a simple outcut on Flott. And the ball's a little bit inside. On a double post. Ertz on one, and then Brown on the other. We called that topper, 2 posts.
Drake London one-on-one with Jamel Dean. Talked about his body control. You see how he bodies him out. If he's gonna spin and body out, Antoine Winfield Jr., I think he's the only one that recognized that there's a possibility they can take a shot. Plays right through the hands of Casey Washington. Evans had a step on A.J. Terrell. Got away with a nice little push off. Nothing wrong there, and Baker just overthrew him.
Job snagging that, and then this right down the seam. Murray with a big hit, perfect timing on Renfro. Look at that bow of
the NFL today, but unfortunately he's got Denzel Ward on. So I'm already.
There's Emeka Egbuka. Baker Mayfield trying to get him involved. He had the touchdown reception in the first half.
Got a lot of guys on this defensive side of the ball. We're starting to see the athleticism show up. He's one of those guys.
Watts read that beautifully. He jumped it so well that he actually had to turn back.
29-yard difference between the potential sack and the penalty yardage.
Yeah, we took a look. Let's take a look at the zone defense. And Diablo almost has an interception. That is a nice job.
This perfect. It is a little pick route here. Then he's going to loop around, and they've got it set up perfectly. Watch Hunter Renfro find himself some time, wide open, just an underthrown ball, and Lewis just gets there in time right as the ball arrives.
Because one is saying interception, another looked like he was saying it was a completion to Wilson because the tie goes to the receiver. But it looks like Ahkello Witherspoon wrestled that football away from Michael Wilson before that could be considered a completion.
See outside, watch, double slants, he reads it, he sets, and then he just takes off on the outside slant. Watch it, bam, put your foot in the ground, go eat that thing up and take it off down the sideline. That is one smart play, but really, you look at the New Orleans Saints, they've run that so many times.
What's going on? He is right here, 24. Now watch him. He sees it, and look at him. He drives on it right away. I don't know if you saw Penn State last night against Oregon. The late play in overtime by the safety. Thieneman, exactly the same thing. Saw it early, had conviction about what was going to happen.
Because Jones, he's soft. You see, he's going to go in motion when Kirk does, but he's got his eyes back on C.J. Stroud. He knows exactly what the route is when the ball's coming out, and that was close to being another interception. A ball that's slightly behind with a pursuing defender. Talk about it a lot, Joe. Balls that are thrown behind with that kind of coverage, this is what's going to happen. Carlton Davis, who I mentioned, had not had an interception this year. You talked about earlier that being his first in the postseason. Now he's got 2. He's had a good game. He just got called for pass interference to kind of set this up, but he makes a heck of a play on the football that's thrown behind him.
They're going to disguise it right here when Trevor Lawrence drops back. He's going to end up throwing an in route right here, and Shaq Thompson reads his eyes and flows right to the ball. And they switched up, went to Tampa 2, and that means you're right there in the middle, and you read the quarterback's eyes, and that is one that Trevor Lawrence.
Man who is number 1 all time in interception percentage as a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers throws a long pick 6.
Yeah, he sure does. Bullock, this is his 5th interception of the year. He had 5 last year, which led the team, and this entire secondary has been a ball-hawking group. Kittle, and they're hoping, the 49ers are hoping they can get a blocker out on him. And if you do, when you catch man coverage, if you do block the guy who's in man coverage, you're going to have a big play. But even Warry, he just reads it. They're not able to get to him, and Kittle has no chance.
Just read it out, and you're going to see him. Where is he at there? Oh, here he comes. You're going to see him in the middle of the screen. You see how he just plays with great depth, and he's able to get underneath that end breaker. Baker never is able to pick him up as he gets locked in on Emeka Ibuka.
You know, it's an interesting move I was talking about, but check out the point of attack. It's tough when you're falling away from the ball instead of anchoring yourself and then jumping straight up like a vertical. But great job.
Yeah, and right back to it. Brian Schottenheimer staying aggressive, 4th and 2 right here.
Just the 6th for the 49ers results in a score.
Watch Tyler Warren as he comes off the ball. This is on him. He telegraphs it. He turns his head before he's at the top of his route. And this is why the little things matter. When he's turning his head, and he's not yet gotten to the top of his route, D. Winters is not threatened whatsoever.
Joe Burrow, that's like a heat check. You know, like in basketball, a guy's made like 4 3-pointers in a row, and he just comes back and he just takes the next open look. Taron Johnson gets a lot of depth. Sample, the other tight end, he's in the flat. And an early down, just probably check that one down and lick. First off, nice play there, overlapping there by Reek Woolen.
Moving on the field is that there was a fumble at the end of the play recovered by Minnesota. It'll be their ball, 1st and 10 from that spot.
Watch Jalen Naylor. He comes in low, knocks that ball out, and he recovered it.
There's just nowhere to go with the ball for C.J. Stroud. He had time in the pocket. He was looking around, but everybody is locked up. Very sticky coverage on the back end from the Indianapolis Colts. The Texans are 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive, and they face another one here down in the red zone.
The ball is just short of the 14-yard line.
And why not? But you're taking a look at Joe Burrow here. You see him move. He looks comfortable. But again, the Ravens just do a good job. They call that plastering. When the quarterback gets out of the pocket, get on your guy and guard him closely. The Ravens all over him.
Nate Wiggins there again.
Let's see. One hand up, both feet down to the air, possession.
Rolling on the field is an interception by the defense. 1st down, Chicago.
I think that's a catch. He's got possession there. He had.
Watch him just feel the space, playing zone, reading Josh Allen's eyes, and gets right into that passing lane to allow himself to get a hand on the football. And there's Bullock, who's able to finish on it, be able to come up with that tip ball. Great job by Zero, gets a hand, almost comes up with a pick. And then Bullock, just such a great job. Rangy, 2nd-year player out of U.S.
Only 3 points on the board.
Amik Robertson started as a slot corner, moved outside, but watch this aggressive move in behind and before the offensive lineman could get out. This is once again an opportunity for this Detroit Lions defense.
Enforce things. It's Elijah Higgins on the outside, and as he breaks out that way, you can see him, but it's a great jump by Diamador Lador. It just gets right in front of him, and then a heck of a return right there, but very un-Jacoby.
The secondary in general, I especially like these safeties. You can see what Jalen Hurts was kind of looking at, just nowhere to go with the football. They're trying to move the pocket, didn't fool the Packers. They're locked up, and this is the one thing when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's see. He had him open, and the ball's on his back hip.
But right here is where he takes it.
Controlled. Oh, it's not controlled. Oh.
Oh, boy.
Looks like an INT.
This is close, Tom.
Yeah, he's got him open, and again, that's just a D throw when it's behind him like that.
Did it hit the ground, too?
Ooh.
After a crew discussion, the ruling on the field is an
This is an amazing job by Cade Otton. I mean, he has no control of the ball right here, and yet he does. You know, and that he's able to fight it away. You know, remember this play as we see what happens on this drive.
This crowd is ready to erupt one way or the other. They're either going to cheer. They've seen this on the video board about 5 times, or they are going to let these officials have it.
Play Mariota in the pocket. Again, more trouble with the protection. And Mariota using his legs to escape, but sometimes knowing the journey's over. You've been on the sideline all day long. And then you try to make a hero play and throw it to the one hero that Dallas has on to make the play. And Zay's trying to make a lot of people miss. But when they see these little guys running across the field, Landman, it's just a shark smelling blood. They are going for those punch outs. Anytime they see any of that leather available, you see just a perfect little peanut.
This is going to be Petrie. He's just covering Derrick Henry out of the backfield and times it perfectly. Jumps the route, undercuts it, which allows him to just snag the ball for the interception. Exactly what Coach Harbaugh did not want out of the Ravens offense.
On second down, picked off. Lloyd again. Devin Lloyd. What a year. Still rolling. Down the sideline. One man to beat. Lloyd. Pick 6.
Well, the rookie from Cal maybe had a chance to pick that.
They're just running one lurk, and you're going to see this safety come down in the box right here. He's just a free defender. That's 31, Craig Woodson. And, oh, so close. I mean, that is a great effort.
Garrett Wilson, they're playing off coverage as they should. And you see Jamel Dean, he's playing off coverage, and he's reading the quarterback. Now watch Garrett Wilson just stop. You cannot stop as a wide receiver with a ball coming at you like that. You have to continue to work back to the football. If you
Wade just timed it perfectly, but that's completely on the quarterback. That is, you do not make that throw. He threw it sidearm. He wanted to get rid of it. And Smith Wade just read it perfectly.
First defensive touchdown for the Panthers this season.
Let's take a look at Penix here, what he got. They're sitting in the zone, everybody's sitting back. And the receiver falls down, so you got no shot. This is actually not a bad job there by Penix to try to make the tackle.
Covered good, all right. Kalen Bullock is here. He's playing. He's going to go deep. But Aziz Al-Shaair, he's got to carry it down the middle, and you can see the speed that he has, and you're not going to get a better opportunity than he has on that play to make the interception.
It back. The Texans ended up with the recovery.
But my goodness, that was close. Right on the fringe, right of a complete 1, 2.
And there D'Amico throws the
I think
throws the challenge flag. So
well, he's tough and he's stout. The former Iowa Hawkeye, he knows how to play those quick out routes. He knows offenses are looking to dot the ball on the sidelines to get out of bounds quickly and save time.
Would have really come. Watch, you're going to see Kraft come right in here and be wide open. Right there, he could have had an easy pitch and catch. Ball's just 1 inch too high.
Could be 34 yards for.
Obviously, we're just trying to get Thomas in the slot right there. You're trying to get him on the out route. A little combination. Hunter taking the coverage off, and it's just really, really nicely covered.